5 reasons why Bottas' time at Mercedes is over. Number 5. His consistency. As we have seen since 2017 when Valtteri Bottas joined Mercedes, Bottas isn't able to produce consistent results like his teammate Lewis Hamilton does. In the time between 2017 to 2020, Lewis Hamilton managed to win 43 races, was 61 times on the podium and got 37 poles. On the other side, Valtteri managed to win 9 races, was 47 times on the podium and got 16 pole positions. Luckily for Bottas, Mercedes was still able to secure the Constructors' title every year since 2017. Not only because Lewis nearly won half of the races every year, but the Mercedes car was just a dominant. And the only real challenger for the team was Ferrari with just one driver, Sebastian Vettel. But things changed for this season. Red Bull is, at the time of recording this, as fast as the Mercedes, and has 2 drivers in Max Verstappen and Checo Perez to challenge for pole positions, podiums and victories consistently. If we take a look at the 2018 season, where Mercedes had the biggest fight on their hands since the hybrid era has started, Bottas was 5th in the drivers' standings, and the only driver from the top 3 teams that didn't win a race. Even Verstappen and Kimi managed to secure more podiums that year despite of having the inferior machine. In the years where Mercedes was under pressure, we saw that Valtteri could be the weakest spot at Mercedes' armor. Number 4. His race pace. This is to some degree also a part of his consistency, but I decided to give it his own spotlight because of the drivers that he is surrounded at. If we take a look at the likes of Lewis Hamilton, Max Verstappen or Sergio Perez, I would say that most Formula 1 fan would agree with me if I say their biggest strengths are the races and their will-to-will combat. They are experts at tire preservation. Just remember Lewis Hamilton in Turkey in 2020. Sergio Perez, current and former team bosses, have told the media several times that he is so good with the tires. It's like he has built-in traction control. Also, he showed his overtaking skills in his first Formula 1 win in 2020 when he was last after the first lap and managed to secure victory. Lewis and Max have shown over the last years that they know when they have to be aggressive, or when it's time to back up to cool the tires and engine. But if we look at Bottas' history at Mercedes so far, more than once we have witnessed how he wasn't able to do an important overtake when he needed to, how he struggled to follow another car without overheating the tires. All these sometimes minor issues make a huge difference in a race, especially if you're fighting somebody who's got a car that's as quick as yours. I mean, during the 2017 to 2018 season where Lewis was fighting with Vettel, Bottas wasn't a real contender for the title, which was probably his best chance because Seb and Lewis were stealing points from each other, as we have seen in 2019 to 2020 when there is no match for the Mercedes. Valtteri doesn't stand a chance against Hamilton despite being very close to him on a Saturday, but points are given on a Sunday. In my opinion, Bottas just isn't on the same level as the very best in Formula 1 on a Sunday. Number 3. Mercedes Junior Program. The Mercedes Junior Program is, as I would say, not really successful. Yes, Toto Wolff was able to secure his young drivers' seats in Formula 1. His first driver, Pascal Wehrlein, who got promoted into Formula 1 and joined Manor in 2016, showed some good performances in his debut season, and was able to secure the team's second points finish ever. But after the team had to leave the sport at the end of the season due to financial reasons, he joined the Sauber F1 team the following year. Again, he found himself in the slowest car on the grid but managed to beat his teammate and scored some points. After the announcement of Alfa Romeo teaming up with Sauber for 2018, it was clear that there was no chance for a Mercedes Junior to stay at a Ferrari-linked operation. Sadly, Pascal was left without a seat and did not get the chance at Mercedes, although Mercedes had a seat available because of the surprising retirement of Nico Rosberg that year. Esteban Ocon was promoted in mid-season in 2016 and became the teammate of Wehrlein. He did a pretty good job in his first half-season of Formula 1. The Force India team signed him for the next 2 seasons. He did a good job against a proven driver like Sergio Perez, but wasn't outstanding either when the Force India team was facing administration and was bought by Lawrence Stroll. The team replaced Ocon with Lance Stroll. Once again, a Mercedes Junior was left without a seat, and again in 2018 where it was clear that Ocon would lose his seat. Mercedes had Bottas, who was compared to his teammate underperforming, but they didn't give a Mercedes Junior the opportunity. The newest Mercedes jewel is George Russell, who did an outstanding job although he was in the slowest car for 2 seasons. He managed to nearly win a race against Bottas when he got the call from Mercedes to drive for them at the second Bahrain race in 2020. If we compare the Mercedes Junior program to the others, We see that Ferrari promoted Charles Leclerc to F1 in 2018, where he raced with Sauber. In 2019, he got the Ferrari seat of Kimi Räikkönen. McLaren promoted Lando Norris in 2019 after his promising Formula 2 campaign. Red Bull has a second team in F1 just dedicated to giving their young drivers F1 experience. But they also gave Daniel Kvyat a chance in 2015. They promoted Max Verstappen in 2016, as well as Gasly and Albon in 2019. Imagine being a talented young driver and receiving an offer from the Mercedes Junior program or any one of the others. I wouldn't be surprised if many young drivers don't take the Mercedes offer, because of their recent history of managing young talents. Mercedes needs to start giving their drivers a chance at the team or just stop the program. If there isn't a chance to become a Mercedes driver, there are already rumors of Red Bull having a close look at the George Russell situation. Number 2. His mentality. At every start of the season, Bottas states that his goal is to win the championship. But as we saw in previous years, he wasn't able to give Lewis a real fight for once. He didn't even manage to get close to a title in these 4 seasons with Mercedes. Not only that, but the whole George Russell story must have left a mark on him. The daily media outlet and fan criticism do not pass someone without a trace. He only received 1-year contracts from Mercedes, which isn't a confidence booster to say at least. The wingman role could make a return in this year's season. If Lewis Hamilton is fighting with Max Verstappen for every point this year, if it's not already the case, one day he will start questioning himself if he is capable of achieving his goal. The mentality of a professional athlete is one of the most important things. If Bottas begins to struggle there, he will perform even worse. How many defeats, media and fan criticism can he take until he collapses? This isn't just a question that Bottas will probably ask himself, but more importantly Mercedes too. Quick reminder, make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you like the content. Number 1. George Russell. We all have seen what an amazing talent George Russell is. He managed to beat the likes of Lando Norris or Alex Albon in F2 by a margin. He stepped into the Mercedes with little notice and nearly won the race while going against his way more experienced teammate Bottas. He has an amazing qualifying pace, is very mature for his age, and has shown that he is ready for the next step in his career. His talent is just wasted at the back of the grid, even though Russell seems loyal to Mercedes at the moment. This could change really quick if he will be overseen another year and another team makes him an offer. He has seen in the past season that all the young drivers at his age have got the opportunity to drive for top teams like Verstappen, Lando or Charles. How long can Mercedes keep him at the back of the grid until he decides to leave the program? Like Carlos Sainz did when he was within the Red Bull Driver Academy, Mercedes needs to think about the future. Because Lewis Hamilton won't race forever, he is 36 years old. If Mercedes don't want to lose Russell, they need to promote him sooner than later. Did I miss something? Let me know in the comments.